What's the state of your website? If you're looking for a new digital experience platform or DXP to run your digital experiences, I have the book for you. The Agile Brand Guide to Digital Experience Platforms is part of my best-selling series of MarTech books. In this book, I explore and demystify DXPs and look at the roles a digital experience platform should play, the different types on the market, as well as how to initially evaluate platforms, then how to best implement a DXP once you've selected it. The book also features a foreword from Rupali Jain, Chief Product Officer at leading DXP provider Optimizely, as well as several other thought leaders in the industry. Learn more and get a copy in print or digital now by going to the Agile Brand Guide website at www.agilebrandguide.com.
Hi, this is Greg. Look for my book, The Agile Brand, on Amazon or on my website at theagile.world. Welcome back to The Agile World. This is Greg Kihlstrom. In the last few episodes, I've been talking about what sets an Agile brand apart from other brands. I went through a few things. So the first thing was having an open dialogue with customers about not only complaints, but ideas and suggestions and things like that. The second thing was making sure that the stories that you do tell are authentic and really resonate not only with your values, but with your customers. In the last episode, I talked about using data to drive deeper insights and really asking the right questions from that data, because you surely have a lot of it. We're able to store so much these days, but it's really key to ask the right questions from that data. Today, I'm going to talk about staying nimble by always listening. So there's a couple different aspects to being nimble, and nimble I think can be a synonym for agile as well. And so part of being agile, it's not being reactive, and I think this is often a common misconception is just because you can change something and you do have access to information that might suggest that you should make a change doesn't mean you should just be reactive and change something on the fly and without a clear purpose or direction. So I think to me, being nimble means we're listening. We have a process to make changes. So, agile methodology works in what are called a series of sprints. So in marketing or branding, the way that I suggest this is, agile marketing is such that it's not a start and end type project. So sometimes with software or with manufacturing, let's talk about software and web design, for instance. That's something that I'm very familiar with. A website redesign project, for instance, it has a start and an end. I approach it in a more agile method than many do. A lot of people still use what's called the waterfall method to do that instead. But we still approach it I approach it in sprints within phases and things like that. So, but with a website design, there is a starting point, and then you launch the website. So technically, that project ends. With agile marketing, or in this case, branding, there really isn't an end. You're not going to stop marketing unless the company goes out of business or something like that. So really, you think in sprints in order to do a couple things. I mean, one is to force yourself to kind of sit back and listen and wait and get a little bit of perspective on what's going on, but also to force yourself to optimize and make changes on some regular basis. So instead of letting things go too long, it provides a structure to allow you to be nimble. And I think that's sometimes it feels like a paradox, but it actually works really well, and it allows you to be actually creative in your approach. And one example that I sometimes use in this to kind of layer this process or creativity on top of a process is ballroom dancing. So it's not something that I do personally, but I once helped some people make a documentary on it. So I did some research and know a fair amount about it. But the concept of ballroom dancing is there are certain dances and there are certain steps to those dances. So there are certain steps and sequences of steps that make a foxtrot versus a waltz versus swing, so on and so forth. I'm forgetting my names of dances here, but that's the series of steps is what makes one dance different from another. So in other words, let's take that to the marketing and agile world, which would be that's process. So those steps don't really change, but when you know those steps, when those steps are secondhand, it actually allows you to be creative, because in that world, in the dance world, for instance, there is tons of room for creativity, and yet someone is still performing that dance. They're still following that process, and yet they're layering a lot of creativity on top of it. So this idea of being nimble, on top, nimble and creative, I'll add that to it as well, on top of a well-structured process actually breeds great results. It allows us to be agile, it allows us to be successful, but it also allows a process where we're not being reactive. We're not just changing things on the fly because, oh, the numbers are down today, so let's change our approach and throw all of our strategy out the window. It's actually allowing us to take a step back. Again, as I was saying earlier, take a step back, look at things and know, okay, well, our sprint's up at the end of the week, let's say. Let's let it go. Let's watch things, and let's make a plan to make changes based on real data, based on real-time feedback. So the next episode, I'm going to talk about letting go a little bit in order to have deeper relationships with your customers. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please rate the show on iTunes or contact me through my website at theagile.world. You can find my books, The Agile Brand and The Agile Web, on Amazon and on my website at theagile.world.